Welcome back, folks, to Kicking It with Tim and the Mechanic. I'm Tim, joined as always by Brandon Cuttino, the Mechanic. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. Always a pleasure when I'm hanging out with you, talking some kickboxing, the sport that we all love, the greatest combat sport out there.
Man, and we have so much to talk about this week. Huge announcements with Badr, Alistair, Overeem, Glory. The entire Glory heavyweight division finally has some fights, and we're so excited to talk about this. We're also going to talk some Infusion, some One Championship, just a little bit of everything going on in the kickboxing world. But first, I want to start off your fight coming up. Shifting opponents here and there. Do you want to tell the folks anything, or just like shifting opponents? Find out later.
Yeah, no, guys. So originally, you guys know I'm fighting June 18th. I'm the main event at Gut Check Promotions down in Delaware. I was originally fighting Gary Mack, but Gary Mack got sick, so he's out. And so now I'm going to be fighting a guy named Anthony Dill, still left-handed person. I think he's out of the Bill Algeo school. So yeah, the fight's still happening, or should I say, I'm still fighting. It's just a different opponent, but it's going to be the same result. Somebody's getting smashed tonight, and most likely he's not going to be the Mechanic.
If you want to support Brandon Cuttino, check him out on social media. Links will be down below. And most importantly, at the Fighters First store. They keep us outfitted. They keep us clothed, keep my family clothed. And that's the most important thing. They got some cool clothes, a Brandon Cuttino exclusives. Make sure to check those out. Brandon, how about a shout out to the Fighters First Network?
Yeah, exactly, guys. Remember, check out fighterfirst.shop. That's where you get all our gear. Saying you can support the show, Kicking It, or you can support me myself, and you can go check out the Mechanic collection as well. Plenty of options for you. You got hoodies, zip-up jackets, sweatshirts, tank tops, whatever you want, baby. Wherever you live, if it's hot where you are, get a tank top. If it's cold where you are, get a hoodie. We got you covered.
That's such a good scoop. That's such a good one. Absolutely love it. All right, and we are going to jump in. Glory has some massive announcements that they've been sitting on, and finally last week it kind of leaked, and then we got an official date. So much has been going on. Glory Collision 4 is confirmed in the Netherlands for October the 8th, headlined by finalizing this trilogy that we've been wanting for a long time, and it's been a long road, and I think the lead-up is going to be a lot of fun for this one. Alistair Overeem will end his trilogy with Badr. Oh, just so excited. Brandon, initial thoughts. Tell us.
Man, I'm excited for it. Remember, at the last show, I told you guys about Glory usually always tries to do a big show in December. That's usually when they kind of do their collisions or their revenge or whatever they like to call their big pay-per-views. But I want to say last year, though, they moved it from December to October. So it seems like this year they're trying to keep up with it and maybe still keep it in October. So which is cool with me. Hey, I like October. It's a good month. So I'm all for it. Like remember we were talking, I said like, hey, if Alistair Overeem isn't going to fight Rico Verhoeven, I would say that the next best person would be Badr, another big name. They have the history. They're 1-1, so why not? To me, this makes sense. Plus, two, Badr kind of been on a losing streak, so maybe Overeem can come in, step in, still get that dub, and you still keep the Alistair Overeem prestige going. You still get that hype where it's like, hey, he should be fighting Rico, and he's not coming off an L.
Man, it's such a good storyline for either man to win in this fight. It feels like a trilogy where we were lucky to have this trilogy because their first fight, I want to say in 2008 or 2009, don't remember off the top of my head, that was when Alistair Overeem became the size of a mountain and no one expected him to win. And he earned a first round knockout completely, an upset completely by surprise. And then they had their next fight the next year in the Grand Prix, in which Badr put on some weight. He's looking muscled up. Now he got a first round knockout. So we are lucky to have this trilogy. And I know it's been a few years in the making, but I can't hide when I'm excited. And this fight really does have me excited. I even asked Saeed El Badawi about it when I was talking to him. And he said the same thing of like, this is a good fight for the fans. I think people are really going to enjoy this. What do you think of this one?
Oh, you know, man, I'm definitely excited. Like I said, if Alistair Overeem wasn't going to fight Rico, this was the next fight for him that I wanted for Overeem was the Badr fight, because like I said, they had the history. I remember watching both those fights when they first happened. You know, after the fact, of course, tape delay or internet. But like I said, I'm definitely down to watch this again. And I was too, like I say, it's good to see Alistair Overeem in a kickboxing ring. This is what we've been waiting basically like for over a year for this. So now we'll be able to get to it.
Man, what do you mean watching on the internet? Those fights were on HDNet. Were you not watching on HDNet, or were you pirating it like everyone else in North America?
No, I did. I know. No, I did not. I did not have HDNet at the time. So then later on in life, when they were available on YouTube, that's when I watched them.
Yeah, I watched all those fights live, and I don't think I've had cable TV in like 20 years. Take that for whatever that means. But yeah, this is a fun fight. I'm really excited for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's so many fun factors, talking about clinching, talking about where they both are in their career. Arguably, Alistair has looked a little bit better, but hasn't competed in kickboxing in quite a while. I don't know. It's going to be a really fun one leading up to October. There's going to be tons of trash talk, and I'm just excited. And you know what? There might be an injury in this fight because both guys are like 95 in fight years, so there might be an injury coming in, but the co-main event may swing into action there, and one of those guys might step in. But right now, the scheduled co-main event is the Croatian knockout artist who's just on a winning streak and clearly the number one contender. Antonio Plazibat is going to meet Levi Rigters in the co-main event of this fight as two up-and-coming heavyweights. This is a really fun fight. I'm really looking forward to this one. What's your initial thoughts on this one, Brandon?
I do like it. I was kind of a little like, because again, it's like Plazibat's like, bro, like just, I guess, wait for the title, but it's like, yeah, he wants to keep fighting. So I don't blame him. Like I say, his last fight, he called out Rico.
Yep. But
then, of course, Rico did respond back, basically, but nothing happened. So now he gets Levi Rigters. Hey, Rigters coming off the layoff. He's supposed to fight at Glory 80, but we know what happened there. So it should be a good fight. Like I said, man, Levi Rigters is a tall guy too, man. Plazibat was what, like 6'2", 6'3", while Rigters was 6'7". So he'll definitely have that height, have that reach. So it should be a good fight. Yeah,
I'm kind of seeing the same thing that you are with, like, man, Plazibat has clearly earned that number one contendership, but we don't know where Rico's got his own show. We don't know who's going to fight. I like, now that we have more heavyweights booked, we can start to speculate that if it is a Glory heavyweight, it might be someone like a Gokhan Saki or someone like that Rico. I'm just speculating here, but like, we're running out of guys because we also had Glory 81 announced, which is headlined by Benjamin Adegbuyi versus Jamal Ben Saddik. This is a great heavyweight fight right here. Both guys are trying to get back in the win column here. Both guys are towering knockout giants of this weight class. I'm really excited for this one. What do you think of this matchup?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for this one. I still remember when Jamal Ben Saddik knocked out Benjamin Adegbuyi in the heavyweight tournament, and he did it while having a broken arm. That's why Jamal Ben Saddik had missed a lot of time because he was recovering from his injury. So, me, I'm a big Benjamin Adegbuyi fan. I love Mr. Gentleman. I love that guy so much that actually one of my students actually nicknamed him after him because the kid is such a nice kid too. He's such a gentleman, but he is a badass as well. So I gave him that nickname. I love Adegbuyi. Good guy. I hope me, man. I'm a biased guy sometimes. I will be rooting for Benjamin Adegbuyi to get that revenge.
Man, as long as I've known you, you've been a Benny fan, and he's had a good career. And you know what? With a win, this is definitely within the realm of him winning and then putting his name right back into contendership again. This is this is potentially a good timeline for Benny, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things too where like, they all say is like, hey, it was a tournament final. Yeah. You went through two other guys, however it is. So hey, this time they'll be one-on-one, nice and fresh. We'll see what happens, But like, hey, Jamal Ben Saddik, new gym, hanging out at Mike's gym, saying he's definitely got himself in better shape and everything like that. So this is kind of cool. I guess the only thing I worry about is like, man, why didn't they just run it back with Rickers? Unless Rickers maybe didn't want to fight in the summertime. He still wanted to spend time with his family, and he was like, oh, October is fine with me. Or maybe he thought if I fight Plazibat and I beat him, then I become the new number one contender. But who knows?
Yeah, I actually don't know either because he agreed to the fight. It's not like they pulled out early or anything like that. They were maybe 20 minutes from fighting each other. Clearly, they're interested in that fight. I don't know what the conversation was behind the scenes, but we get a little mix up in their heavyweight division, which is kind of nice. These guys are clearly vying for a title and straightening that out. Plazibat's the clear number one contender, but it's going to be a fun division for the rest of the year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anything else you want to throw at these big fight announcements?
And I just hope we get a date for Glory 81. When's it going to be over the summer? And then also too, we just get more fight announcements.
Oh, it's refreshing. I love to see it. More fight announcements. Hopefully we get some stuff set up with those guys going forward. Looking forward to that one. But let's jump into one championship. Had a really fun Muay Thai dominant event. 2 Muay Thai titles were on the line, plus the beginning of their flyweight Muay Thai Grand Prix. In the main event, the 1 Muay Thai featherweight championship was on the line. Pech Morakot defended his title against the French-born Jimmy Venot. Now, this was a controversial fight because Jimmy overall seemed to be more effective. Round over round, you could potentially make the argument for Pech Morakot. But having watched the entire fight and watching the entire fight live, like Pech Morakot did have he scored a knockdown. That was the biggest thing. Yeah. Jimmy seemed to be controlling this fight. Now, Jimmy was your initial pick. It was a close split decision. I think most fans maybe pick Jimmy. What do you think of this matchup?
Hey, you know me. Like I said, I picked Jimmy. Jimmy was my pick, so I was rooting for him. Hey, man, this is why they say don't leave in the hands of the judges. You never know, especially to me with one. I never know what's going on with their judges because then next the CEO will come out and be like, Chatri will come out and be like, oh, they were looking at kickboxing rules instead of Muay Thai rules when they were judging, or vice versa, and it's like, what are you talking about, man? So, but yeah, it was a close fight. It was a good fight. Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy came in, did his thing. Like I said, I thought him being the bigger guy, like you said, he would be able to control the fight, which is kind of really what we kind of said was really going on, where it kind of seemed like he was controlling the action. But, it was like I said, it was a close fight. Judges saw one thing. Us as fans, we saw another thing. It goes like that sometimes.
And I think this is a good time for one to really explain the rules, because I've tried to look it up online because I read about one championship so much. They're kind of my primary, they're the thing I study them more than anything. Mm-hmm. I've tried to find clarification on what their exact rules are for Muay Thai and what their exact judging criteria is for Muay Thai. And I can't find any exact information. I can find Matt Hume talking about MMA rules, and I can find like general Muay Thai rules for other organizations, but just give me the exact rules. What are these judges looking at? For example, Jimmy Venot kept landing dumps, right? Dumps and sweeps. And then at one point, the referee told him to stop doing that. So like, what? He already did it for like 3 rounds. I don't know what the ref was up to. And how are those valued? Are they valued kind of like, oh, you score a little bit, or it's absolutely worthless, or it's worth a lot? Just help us out so we understand it, so we can see what the judges are kind of looking at here. You don't have to. I don't want to say like I'm criticizing one championship. Just tell us what the rules are is all we really want to know, right?
Transparency, baby. That's what it's always about. Transparency.
Yeah, and we'll get it. But yeah, Jimmy Venot, that's a fun little weight class, featherweight Muay Thai. I think he's going to be a force. They have to have a rematch probably later this year. But I do want to talk about our boy who we interviewed on the Kickin Network, Joseph Lesseri. Really is a massive upset. I don't think, of all the underdogs on this card, I never would have picked Joseph Lesseri. But Joseph Lesseri dominated Prajanchai. Prajanchai has nearly 400 fights in his career. Joseph Lesseri picked up Muay Thai when he was 17, but he had a 4-fight skid when he entered one championship. But now, one punch, he figured out the uppercut, and it changed the entire makeup of this fight. What an absolute great story for this young man. He walks away, Joseph Lesseri, as the new champion. What do you have to say about this kid?
Hey man, congrats to him. Hey, like you said in the interview with you that he wanted to put on a pace that the champ couldn't handle, and that's really what happened. When we said he retired. He basically was like no mas. When he was on the stool, he couldn't take anymore. He was done. And Lesseri came out, did his thing. Like I said, this is definitely a contender for upset of the year. I mean, I know for some people that this right now is their upset of the year, in Muay Thai and kickboxing. But hey, there are still plenty of fights that happen this year. So, but this is definitely truly an upset of the year contender. And man, just kudos to Lesseri, putting Italy back on the Muay Thai kickboxing map right now.
Dude, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, like you said, he said in an interview that he wants to push Prajanchai into quitting. Something that's never happened in nearly 400 fights. The gall of this man. Even coming into the fight, Prajanchai said in interviews, like, I don't really have much to worry about. Like, I've seen him fight. I don't have anything to worry about. He made him quit on the stool in between rounds. A man gave up his title. He said, no, I'm good. I'm done. That's insane. How, quitting on the stool at this level? absolutely an unreal story for this Joseph Lesseri, right?
Yep. Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, heck, this could be story of the year as well. You know, there's a lot of things that went into this fight. You know, a lot of storylines. You know, that you can pull from. So, hey, like I said, kudos to him. Can't wait for when he defends his title. If it will be a rematch or if it will be somebody from the tournament. You know.
Oh man, it's going to be a good time. So into the moving to the Grand Prix itself, like you said, Rodtang had defeated Jacob Smith in a very dominant fight. Jacob Smith, he came in on a lot of promise from the UK, got beat up here. What do you have to say about it?
Hey, I picked Rodtang. Rodtang did his thing. I think we all knew what was going to happen. Shout out to Smith for coming in, standing in there. He didn't get finished, you know. So hey, kudos to him for that, but it was one-way traffic.
Yeah, and I think at the end you saw Jacob Smith say, like, I can take your punches. And that was his source of pride. It's like, I didn't get knocked down. You didn't knock me out. But I think, you remember at the end when Rodtang bowed, respectfully, I don't think Jacob Smith could see him. Like, there was too much blood in his eye. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful. I just don't think he could see below, you know? Brutal fight. But yeah, good for Rodtang. Got the win. Well-deserved. Moves to the next round. And we also have Walter Gonzalez defeated Josu Cruz, who was the substitute for Jonathan Haggerty, in just 35 seconds with a body punch. Great for him. Anything you want to throw at the young Brazilian man?
Hey man, body shots in fights, and that's what he did. He went to the body, found that sweet spot, took care of business. Hey, I mean, we were all looking for Haggerty to be in action, but it didn't happen. So, hey, Jose Cruz stepped in, but he got put out right as soon as he stepped in.
Is what it is. Super Lek, one of the favorites to win the tournament, did defeat Taiki Naito as he was supposed to do via decision. After the fight, he was disappointed that he didn't get the finish, but he looked quite good on the way to that victory. What do you got to say for our boy Super Lek?
Yeah, man, exactly. Like Super Lek, hey, he looked good. Like I said, he didn't get the finish. Probably, like I said, I'm sure everybody had Super Lek winning the fight anyway, wanted him to win, is their pick. But hey, he moved on. You know, hopefully, you know, they say he didn't get any injuries, so that's always what you want when you're doing a tournament style, you know.
Yep, absolutely. And Savas Michael put on just a masterclass against Amir Nazari. Like, really had no issues, didn't suffer very much. He controlled the pace, controlled the distance. And he moves to the next round. What do you got to say for this young man?
I mean, I'm sure his road might be ending depending on who he's fighting next. Because I want to say, is he fighting Super Lek next? Or is he fighting Rodtang?
Yeah, he's fighting Rodtang.
Exactly. So hey, kudos for you for making it to the second round. Your prize is Rodtang. I see him being done after that.
You get to fight Rodtang. But yeah, I think there was more speculation when there was 8 people and Jonathan Haggerty. Now looking at the top 4, you have Rodtang versus Michael, and you have Gonzalez versus Super Lek. We're getting a Rodtang Super Lek final, which is awesome. I'm super excited for it. I think Rodtang, you know what, now if Super Lek doesn't pick up the pace a bit, Rodtang's going to beat him. Super Lek needs to accelerate a little bit more. Maybe I don't know. What do you think? Maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm switching my pick from Super Lek to Rodtang. What do you think?
Yeah, no. Rodtang is a slow starter. So I mean, if you try to jump on him, I mean that could be his best option. You know, but hey, but once Rodtang gets going, you better watch out. The dude's a buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 24 years old. It's absolutely insane. But also on this card, I want to throw in, because we talked about this kid as well, Mohamed Botassa. Just a masterclass doesn't do it justice of what he did to David Curia. He should be extremely proud of this performance because it was a flawless victory. If this was Mortal Kombat, he took no damage on his way to a fatality against David Curia. Mohamed Botassa, young man. I think he's still like not even 25 yet, but what an absolute great way to introduce yourself to this division, and such a strong division. He defeated David Curia by decision. What do you think of our boy, Mohamed Botassa?
I mean, Botassa did his thing, man. I don't know what David Curia's game plan is. Like, his new fighting style, not a big fan of it. I don't know what his thing is. It's basically like he shells up, walks forward, takes punches, and he tries to bang with you. But it's like, bro, you don't really, to me, have the power to do that. Like, I know he does have a couple of knockouts here and there, but yeah. I'm sorry, man. Like, dude, you're staying around. Like, that's what Botassa did. Just basically used his kicks, and then he just moved around, made angles. It was like he never really let Curia get close to him. So I mean, like I said, I've seen Kiri do this, this past couple of fights. I think one fight he won. The next fight he got basically housed. Same thing happened here, man. He might need to change up his fighting style again. But yeah. I mean, shout outs to Butasa, and let's see who he gets next.
Yeah, I was wondering about Kiri as well. So like, what's going on if he's entering fights with? I don't know. We want, whatever. But good for Muhammad Butasa. Anything else on this card that you want to throw in on, or everything was just gravy? It's a great event to watch. What do you think?
Yeah, no, everything was good. I mean, it wasn't kickboxing. It wasn't kickboxing fight, but was it Wonder Girl? She made her MMA debut. Right? No, it was a Supergirl.
I get them mixed up all the time too. Oh, I actually don't know. Nat. It was Nat Jerusnak. I have to look it up.
Supergirl or Wonder Girl? I can't remember which one she is.
It's Wonder Girl. So Wonder Girl made her debut in MMA.
And she did good, and she got a submission. That's the only thing I just want to talk about. Hey, Muay Thai to MMA, you always got to show them some love somehow.
Man, after she won, it was so cute. Like her post-fight victory, she was like, I got submission. Like she was so proud of that. Of like, she earned her blue belt already in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This was her debut in MMA. This clearly meant a lot to her. I think if she earned a knockout, she would have been like, yeah, whatever. But she earned a submission, so she was like, yeah, I did a submission. Yeah. Good for her. We also have coming up this weekend, this Friday in one championship, 158. There's one very good heavyweight kickboxing fight on the card, and that is Guto Inocente will be facing the Serbian Raid Opacic. And I've probably butchered their names. That's okay. Both guys are on a win streak in this division and are now meeting. I like this fight. This is going to be a banger of a fight. It's on the main card of 158 coming up this Friday. I love this one. What do you think of this one? Who do you have going in? Who do you have coming out? It should be a quick one from the looks of things.
I like Guto, but I don't think he has what I don't think he. I mean, I could say he could win because I mean he does do some spinning techniques. You can always catch somebody, but I don't think he's winning this one. I think his opponent's gonna be too much for him. Like I said, there was a reason why Guto kind of flamed out at Glory. But hey, he's in one now. Let's see, maybe he'll switch things up and one. It'll be better for him. But I don't think he's gonna win this one.
No, I completely agree with you. I think most fans do as well. The safe pick, the smart pick, and what most people are picking, Raid Opacic. He's coming off a knockout win streak so far, and he's looked good doing it. I think he has a size advantage going in. But yeah, this looks like a Raid's fight all day long. I completely agree with you on that. Anything you want to cover on one championship before we move on to some Infusion and Glory Rivals fun?
Nah, man. Let's get on to the Infusion love.
Absolutely. Infusion 107 will be on June the 4th, which I believe is this Saturday. And this was a middleweight Grand Prix. And let me give you the fighters going into this Grand Prix, and then we can talk a little bit more about them. We have Khalid Al-Bakuri, we have Santino Verbeek, and then in the other fight, we have Madeline Mogosh, and I know I'm saying it wrong, and Kevin Louis Van Heckereen. All right. Who do you have in these fights? Who do you like in this one? How do you see the middleweight Grand Prix going at Infusion 107?
I got El Bakuri winning his fight. I've seen him before in Infusion. Dude's a monster, of course. Like I said, another Moroccan. That's how they get down, man. Like Infusion loves having themselves some Moroccans. They bring a good crowd and they bring the fight. And then on the other side, I got like I said, I don't know if even I know how to say it right. The Van Heckerin.
Yeah.
I want to say he's going to win his fight as well, and it's going to be him, and it's going to be El Bustadi in the final, and it's a close one, but I'm just going to go with El Bukari to win the tournament.
Yeah, it seemed like when we were looking at the brackets, and maybe we got the wrong brackets, but it's from the official Infusion website. Again, we're talking about the Infusion website. It seems like one side of this bracket is way better than the other side of the bracket, with Khalil and Santino combined have like 100 fights, and then the other two guys in this tournament combined, I mean, maybe we're missing some records here, but according to the Glory website and Tapology, combined, these guys have like 10 fights overall. So on one side, 100 fights, and the other side, 10 fights. So I don't know. I think this is a little bit weighted to one guy here. But yeah, Khalil or Santino, really whoever wins that fight, as long as they're healthy enough in the next fight, I think they can take it, right?
Yeah. It's I mean, like I say, man, it's Infusion, man. Dude, they always bring bangers, and they always have banger of events, man. They like these guys come to fight, so I think it's gonna be good. But like I said, I think Bukhari is the guy to take it. Like I said, I've seen him fight several times. I mean, I've seen Wesseling fight too as well. I've seen them both fight a lot, but I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Moroccan this time over the guy from the Netherlands.
No, absolutely. His wins are a little bit higher quality, and his losses are a better quality as well. Like he's fought guys like Itrigo Bayrak, he's fought tons of other guys like Mohammed, and so on. But yeah, he's got good wins, he's got good losses. Infusion 107 will be on June 4th with a middleweight Grand Prix on it. Anything else you want to cover off on that event before we move forward?
I mean, it's not really on the main card, it's on the talents card. But like say, you know me, man, like in MMA and even in kickboxing, king of the lady fights, love the lady fights. So we got two ladies going down in the beginning. Schultz versus Doinka bantamweight fight. So that should be a banger of a fight. I think that's the second fight on the Infusion talents part of the card. So just saying, guys, if you guys get there early enough, check out the talents part of the card.
Oh, absolutely. If you're going to an Infusion fight or you're watching Infusion, definitely watch the entire event. Infusion constantly puts on some of the best kickboxing shows, especially in Europe. They're just an exciting and awesome organization to watch. And speaking of which, let's move forward onto the combination. We were talking about this off the air. We're guessing the combination event of Glory Rivals and Infusion 108 because the Infusion website puts the two together and they're on the same day. Let's start at the top with Glory Rivals, officially now called Glory Rivals 1, formerly Glory Rivals 2. Luis Tavares will meet Florent Kouachi in the main event in a light heavyweight fight. What do you think of this matchup? What do you think of these boys?
I mean, to me, I like Luis Tavares, but it's like, bro, you had the title shot, man. Just take it. You know, like I don't get your nonsense about I can't do it. Like, dude, like become the champion. Like that is what you can be the champion of an organization. You can represent the Netherlands and you know, and like say you can stand up that way. You know, like I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. But hey, he wants to take this fight. I say it's another W for Tavares. You know, I kind of really want to say, man, there should be light work for him, man. It should be easy work. He should be in and out. Like I said, he is a former Infusion champion. Actually, I want to say I think it was a two weight class champion. I think it was their heavyweight and their light heavyweight. So yes. Like I said, this should be to me just easy work for him. Should be a light day to me, man. He just come in, collect the check, and get out.
Yeah, I can't see it any other way. Like you said, that title shot, I just can't, like, I know he's taking a protest against the Russian invasion and all that stuff, but beating up a Russian guy seems like a pretty good way to do it. But I don't know. He's just bounced around from different like pairings of fights here and there. Hopefully this fight actually goes through at this point. But yeah, none of the fights from Glory Rivals 1 have gone anywhere. I don't know where Andy Semler's at. Nobody's heard from the man. Nadal Bachiri versus Jafar Wilnis and Sergio Canters versus Jay Overeem. What do you think of these fights going down the Glory Rivals event card?
Always been a fan of Jafar Wilnis. You know, like I said, tough guy, durable guy, well experienced. You know, like I said, if you really want to test yourself, he's definitely a guy to go up against. You know, because like I said, if you're able to beat him, then you know you belong. You know, like to me, I kind of want to say Jafar Wilnis, mate. I guess you know you don't really want to use this term, but to me, he kind of is like a gatekeeper these days. You know, like I said, you want to see where somebody is. You put him up against Wilnis, you know, but I think he still has something in him, you know. Like I said, I know he's with a new gym now, so I'm kind of eager to see how he is now. Like I said, because we haven't seen him ever since I want to say it was the Coliseum gym. You know, that's where his brother, I think the lightweight champ was there too as well. But like I said, they all left. Like they're all in different places now. I don't even remember. Wait, isn't Jafar Wilnis now with Badahari and them now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're all. Yeah. It's a powerful gym that they have. But yes, I think they're all there.
Yeah. So So I'm down to, like I said, I'm down to see. Like I said, I mean, Badr was looking good in his fights. Besides just the little, blips here and there. So I'm kind of looking to see how Jafar Williams looks. So like I said, I see that, and of course, like I said, we just saw Jay Overeem do his thing. So I'm thinking another W for him as well.
It seems like they're really setting up Jay over. And you know what? Wikipedia and the Infusion website do have different fights listed, but we do know that at the very least, Jay Overeem will be fighting. And we also know that Nadal Bachiri will be fighting. I'm not entirely sure about Wilness because he's not on the Infusion website. We'll get back to you, folks, on what we find out because I don't know. But Jay Overeem does seem to be being set up because he was the only guy, I think, from Glory Rivals 1 to get his fight replaced fairly quick. So it seems like they're trying to set him up probably for a welterweight title shot, maybe at the end of this year if he keeps on winning. But I know that they were quite high on this kid when he entered the organization, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, he's coming from was it the Melvin Manhoff camp? So Melvin Manhoff is a big name. He's gonna hype up his guy. So yeah, I could definitely see it.
Speaking of Melvin Manhoff, hey, how about Melvin Manhoff and Yoel Romero being confirmed? I think it's for Dublin. What do you think of this matchup? That's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Like I said, they were supposed to fight a couple of weeks ago, but Melvin Manhoff injured his hand when he beat up some car thieves. So they're gonna run it back in September. We shall see what happens in that fight.
Oh, it should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. We also have Infusion on the website. It is 108. We're going to have Raymond Buante versus Steven Van de Broek. We have Misha Eratus versus Jimmy Van Kujin. I just nailed it. That's going to be on June 11th. Any of these other fights that you want to check out or talk about a little bit, Brandon?
No, I mean, like I said, I guess I just want to know, man, what's really going on with Glory and Infusion and how are we gonna see this? That's really all, man. Like I say, we talk about transparency. I just wish, man, they come up, man, and just have a nice big press conference or something like that. But I mean, I'm all for it. But like you said, where's the indie similar Gregorian fight?
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they're moving that fight to Glory 81. I don't know, because like I say, they both are Glory fighters now. So,
but yeah, I know. It's like we're blurring these lines almost so needlessly. Of okay, so we're gonna have an Infusion event full of Infusion fighters, but then we're gonna have a Rivals event of Glory fighters versus Infusion fighters. But most of those Rivals fighters are former Infusion fighters fighting other Infusion fighters as well. And also, as an aside, for tax purposes, Glory and Infusion are barely involved in this event at all. There's so many blurred lines that even guys like us who follow kickboxing quite closely are just like, man, when you update the website, can you update Wikipedia? When you update this, can you let us know, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll hopefully get some Infusion news later this year. I'm expecting Jay Overeem to fight Andy Semler at the end of this year. I think Andy Semler has enough qualifications that they could put him in a title shot right away. The boy who was in the... Sorry?
Hamcha?
Okay, last I spoke to Saeed, he said that he has a hand injury, but I don't know how long he's supposed to be out for, but he's clearly number one. But this weight class is kind of cooking. It's looking kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I mean, I know people want to rag on Glory in their divisions, but it's when you really look, there are people there, man. You just got to see them. But the thing is, though, I feel like people forget about people because we haven't seen them fight. We got to get them fights. Speaking of people fights, like a Glory fighter, Luke Whelan, who I was talking about in the lightweight division. I think he's been hanging out in his hometown in England, with the the promotion, the MTGP, the Muay Thai Grand Prix promotion. He's been doing Muay Thai fights, but also too, I realized the dude dropped down a weight class. He's not fighting at featherweight. I think he's fighting at 143. So I don't know if he's no longer a lightweight. And it's he just haven't been doing fights. But I mean, that kind of segued to something that I just wanted to bring up too. That we were just talking about what Glory and Infusion coming together, Glory and Rise coming together. Now it looks like one's trying to do the same thing, but they're doing it with Muay Thai Grand Prix. So it seemed like that's the way of the future now. It seems like maybe these companies want to try to either join together or they're trying to be a filter. Like say Chadru said, he's like, oh, there's a lot of Muay Thai talent, so maybe a lot of these Muay Thai guys in MTGP is gonna start coming and fighting in one, like how we see Infusion fighters going to Glory. So I mean, I'm all for it. I guess my thing is I want to know, will MTGP then start kind of having fights be like one where they'll be wearing the 4 ounce gloves, because they usually still wear the boxing gloves.
Dude, I completely co-sign with you. I agree with you on a bunch of different things there. But yeah, I love seeing the collaboration between one championship, and they also are working with the stadiums in Thailand as well. And now they're going to be working with Muay Thai in the UK, which is fantastic. Muay Thai in the UK is weirdly good for some reason, but no idea why. But yeah, it's nice to see Rise working with K1. Rise is going to be working with Glory. It's nice to see Infusion working with Glory as well. Guys, keep it going. We don't want to separate these divisions too much more. Let's get them all together. I don't really know, because I don't think the UK has really strict rules on like what you can do in Muay Thai fights. I assume if they chose to, they could just put on the small gloves if they really wanted to. And the fighters, of course, are going to be okay with that kind of thing. But I assume they absolutely could. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the next little while here. Their next couple of events. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Should be a fun one. Also, a quick announcement. Gabriel Varga, the former Bellator kickboxing champion and the former Glory champion, is scheduled to make his debut now in Karate Combat, which I believe will be, this one is June 25th. No opponent yet, but like Karate Combat's kind of in the mix here. Do we talk about Karate Combat? Is this something that we're into?
I mean, I've watched it here and there, but I haven't really gotten fully involved in it. But I mean, there was a lot of kickboxers on it, because I think also on that same card, I think it's Ross Levine is fighting. Like I said, he's been in Glory as well. Like I said, I think these guys are just like, hey man, kickboxing's kind of been MIA a little bit. Karate Combat wants to come and pay me. So, but this again, there's another thing that we talked about, where it's like, how is it that this company is just starting, and I feel like they're getting a lot of promotion push, then like kickboxing, like I say, like we talk about, like we're bare knuckle, all these guys are just coming in, but it's like I feel like they're getting more love, they're getting more publicity than kickboxing. We know kickboxing is so great, and these guys came from kickboxing. But then again, does it go back to what we talked about, where say these guys don't have a front man, they don't have that talker, because in Karate Combat you have Boss Rutan, and everybody knows who Boss Rutan is. You even got GSP now, he's a sensei or whatever, so to me it's like you have
as well. Like they got three PR guys.
Yeah, so it's like you have these well-known guys, these big guys, like that people know, and they're out there talking about it, while we have Glory, Infusion, quiet. I mean, Chatri's out there talking, but usually, like we talked about before, like one like disguises it with MMA, but really everybody's watching it for the kickboxing, and Muay Thai, But that's the reason why people know one, is because they're like, oh yeah, they do MMA. Oh, Demetrius Johnson over there. But then it's like, oh wait, they got Muay Thai and kickboxing. Oh, Ratang, yeah, that's a banger. Oh, Super Bond banger. So like that's like how it is. It's like their kickboxing is really is like disguised in MMA, so people here in North America will like look at it. Wow. But again, but Chatri's out there, he talks. You always see news dropping, press releases dropping. Well, then again, like we talk about everybody else. Like, I mean, K1, Rise, they're in Japan. Japan does their own thing. Japan is like, we don't care about anybody but Japan. It is what it is. But to me, it's like if you're another promotion, but that's the thing too, is like I feel like Infusion is the same way too, where I remember talking to them. They were like, we only care about Europe. That's all we care about. Like we're not trying to go global. We'll let Glory do that. Because I remember I asked them if they would ever come to America, and they were like, no, we're going to let Glory do that. We're just going to worry about Europe. And that's when I was like, okay, well, if I ever want to fight an Infusion, I guess I got to make sure I got my passport ready. So that's just my thing, where I just think about it. It's like, to me, it's like, it has to be the front man, like I said, you even did an interview with Boss Rutan, like talking about Karate Combat. Like, that's why it's like, to me, he's out here, he's doing these interviews. Like, like we don't, like kickboxing really doesn't, like either kickboxing isn't really trying to become global, like say, like we talk about, K1, Infusion, Rise, they just want to stay in their own demographics. Even like King of Kings, King of Kings is like always like, oh, we're just fighting in like Lithuania or like Slovakia. Like, that's it. We're not going anywhere else. Yeah. While like to me, the only global one is Glory, which is why we talk about it's like why it's like guys, let us know. Like, you have, and plus, like, things like they have all these fighters. Like, we were just about England. Like, they were supposed to go back to England a while back, you know, when Jamie Bates became hot again, you know, but it's never happened. Like, I think they only been to, actually, no, I don't think they've ever been to England. Or maybe they did one time. No, I think they've been to England once.
Yeah.
I think they were supposed to go back, but they never did. And it's like, and like we talked about, and we were just talking about, like, oh, you don't know why the UK has a big buzz. Like, there's a lot of people in England, you know, like they had a lot of stars. Like, even like was it the bad boy Bailey Sugden, you know, he was out of England as well, you know, his whole family, you know, they're all a bunch of kickboxers, boxers, stuff like that. But that's where it's just like, where are we going, guys? Like, that's why I'm all like, oh, we're just hanging out in the Netherlands or, you know, Belgium now.
Yeah. You know? And that's the thing of me bringing up Karate Combat, only because it seems like whenever, like, you and I kind of run in the same circles, when we go on Instagram or Reddit or whatever, Karate Combat keeps showing up. And like, I'm literally following Glory Kickboxing and one championship and stuff. Yep. And I'm seeing Karate Combat constantly. So it's become something because of how strong their promotion is. Or like seeing them on YouTube with George St. Pierre and Stephen Thompson talking all the time. Yep. Their promotion is so strong that it's become like, oh, do I have to talk about this now? You know what I mean? Where like, I'm trying to reach out to Infusion of like, please give me the information that I want. Whereas everywhere I go, it's like, man, there's Karate Combat. Like, I want that for the other organizations too.
Yeah, not like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've had people reach out to me and be like, oh, hey, would you be interested in like doing a Karate Combat? And I'm like, you know, like, hey man, I'm not gonna lie. I hear they pay decent. I hear they pay decent. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, but I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave it at that. But I'll go tell their PR that, like, yeah, he's interested. I did my job today. But yeah, Karate Combat. I mean, there's lots of kick sport in the world. Muay Thai and kickboxing have just an amazing roster of people going on. One championship has a weird amount of UK fighters. I've been every UK fighter I talk to, I'm like, man, tell Chaudhry to come over here so I can cover it. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully Glory kind of keeps pushing globally, and we'll see how they go. Anything else you want to say before we head on out of here, Mr. Cuttino, or what's next?
Just two things. Just one, you know, Lion Fight. They had a show that originally was supposed to be in Houston this upcoming month, but that got canceled. But they still got a show in July that's going to be in Boston. So hey, Muay Thai in America is still trying to be bumping up here. And then just the last thing, hey, Rise, they had an event this past weekend, Rise 158. The main event, which was I hope I say his name right, Ryoto Nakano, basically like just won the welterweight championship. I mean, just straight smashed his opponent. The only reason why I want to talk about this fight was because then he had the belt, but then the gold plate piece came off. It's like, Rise, help us out, man. Is this why you're hanging out with Glory over here? You need some new belts or something? But hey, man, but overall though, Rise, man, always putting out good shows. And then also too, what you had talked about too about Rise being in smaller venues than K1. Like, this is my first time actually like truly watching a Rise event. Like, it looked like they were in a high school gymnasium. That's all I'm gonna say. But I saw it.
But you know what? That's Kurikan. I'm gonna say it wrong, but Kurikan Hall, and like some of the guys who I knew from that I worked with who used to cover Shudo were like, man, everyone at Kurikan Hall knows the sport. And like, I know they were like, yeah, no one's there, but all of us are involved in the sport in some way. But yeah, I guess it's just a cheap venue. But like, everyone from like Shudo to Pancrase has done shows there. Where like, that's where Boss Rude was doing a bunch of their Pancrase shows and stuff like that. But yeah, it does, like you said, it just, if you look up, there's like 5 people in the audience, and they're probably family.
Yeah, but that was what I just want to talk about. It's just like, man, the man won the belt, had the belt on him. Then there's, you know, the gold places on the floor. He's picking it up. He's putting it in his mouth, like biting it, like it's a gold medal or something. I'm just like, okay, you guys need to get him a new belt.
Man, I'll send him some glue in the mail. Glue is not expensive, but you got your gold belts and have to look like they're worth something. They can't. We all know, but you can't just like make it so obvious. But anyway, let's get out of here. Rise, always a great show. If you get a chance to watch it, catch the replays or watch it live. It's always an awesome show. Brandon, last word before we head on out of here.
Hey guys, remember, like, subscribe, share, man. Let's keep growing this kickboxing community. Like I say, man, we talk about growing this sport. It helps with this right here, you know. So please like, share, spread the word, tell the people, comment too as well. We love interacting with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we know that we're wrong, but you can tell us that too in the comments. All right, back in a couple of weeks with Tension and Takuru, the match. Thanks so much, folks.